We all hear the number, 40 million people, an almost unimaginable figure. But the true horror of Genghis Khan isn't just how many people he killed, it's how he killed them.
He once famously declared, "I am the punishment of God." And then he added, "If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you." Talk about a justification, right?
So that begs the question, what exactly were these great sins that could possibly justify such apocalyptic brutality? Well, as you're about to see, the bar for what Genghis Khan considered a great sin was horrifically low.
And, this incredible capacity for cruelty, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere when he was leading armies. Nope. It started way, way earlier, and it was deeply personal.
Get this. He was only 14 years old when he committed his first recorded murder. And the victim, well, it wasn't some enemy soldier or a rival chieftain. It was his own half-brother, Bektar. And Bektar's big crime? He ate a fish without sharing. Seriously. Young Temujin, that's what they called Khan back then, he goes fishing, brings back his catch, and Bektar just grabs one and eats it. For that tiny act of selfishness, Temujin hunted him down and put an arrow on his back. That tells you everything, doesn't it? Even as a teenager, he knew that the only way to survive was through absolute, brutal dominance.
So he took that personal, family-level ruthlessness, and he just blew it up to a massive scale for the battlefield. He developed these tactics that were honestly strategically brilliant, but they were also completely monstrous. One of his signature moves was a tactic called Karash. The translation is something like living boards. And no, that's not some clever military formation, it's exactly what it sounds like, the systematic, cold-blooded use of human shields. This is where you see the complete and utter lack of mercy. The Mongols would just roll into nearby villages, round up everybody, men, women, children, prisoners, it didn't matter, and shove them to the front lines. They were forced to carry ladders right up to the city walls, basically acting as a sponge for all the arrows and boiling oil. Imagine being a soldier on that wall. You're faced with this horrific choice: kill your own people or surrender your city. Absolutely diabolical.
But as brutal as that was, nothing, and I mean nothing, unleashed Khan's, let's call it creative cruelty, quite like a personal insult. And the story of one greedy governor, well, it's one of the biggest mess-around-and-find-out moments in all of history.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1218. Khan sends this huge trade caravan, like 450 merchants, over to the Horrifying Empire. He's looking to open up trade routes. I mean, sure, he's a conqueror, but he's also a pragmatist, a businessman.
But the governor of one city, Otrar, a guy named Inalchuk, he gets suspicious. He accuses all 450 merchants of being spies, executes every last one of them, and then just helps himself to all their stuff. This was a very, very bad mistake.
Khan tries diplomacy first. He sends an ambassador to demand justice. They kill the ambassador too. So that's it. Khan personally leads an army of 200,000 men to teach this empire a lesson. So, how does a guy like Genghis Khan punish greed?
Well, after a 5-month siege, they finally capture Inalchuk. And Khan doesn't just kill him. Oh no, the punishment had to fit the crime. For the sin of greed, he has molten silver poured directly into the governor's eyes and ears until he was dead. It's perfectly symbolic and just unimaginably painful.
But the thing is, the punishment didn't stop with that one guy. Khan's revenge was aimed at the entire Khwarezmian Empire, and what he unleashed next was a campaign of pure annihilation on a scale the world had just never seen before.
Let's look at the city of Merv, for example. At the time, this was a massive hub, one of the most prosperous cities on the planet. Its population might have been close to 1 million people.
So after a pretty short siege, the city surrenders. They were probably hoping for mercy. They got none. The Mongols marched the entire population out onto the plains and just slaughtered them. An estimated 700,000 people. The only ones spared were a few hundred artisans whose skills the Mongols could use.
But as horrible as that was, what happened at the city of Nishapur was even worse, because here, the revenge got very, very personal for Khan.
You see, during the siege of Nishapur, an archer on the walls killed Khan's favorite son-in-law. When word got back to Khan and his daughter, who is now a widow, they were, to put it mildly, furious.
And the orders that came down from his daughter were chillingly specific. This wasn't about winning a battle anymore. This was about extermination. The order was to kill every living thing. Not just the people,
Every man, woman, and child, but also all the livestock, all the dogs and cats. Nothing was to be left alive. And then they beheaded every single corpse and built 2 giant pyramids out of their skulls, one for the men and one for the women and children. A gruesome monument to their revenge.
But for all the cities he wiped off the map and the millions of people he killed, Genghis Khan's final act of revenge might just be the most horrifying of all. It wasn't just about killing people. It was about the complete and total erasure of an entire civilization from history itself.
This was the Tangut people. Their great sin was refusing to send troops to help Khan in his war. For that insult, he swore he would wipe them from the face of the earth. And on his deathbed, that's the final order he gave. The Mongols went in and just systematically dismantled their entire civilization. They leveled their cities, burned their books, tore down their buildings, their language, their writing, it all just vanished. Many historians now look at this as one of the very first recorded examples of attempted genocide.
His last command on the subject was so simple and so terrifying. I don't want anyone to ever mention them ever again. And you know what? For centuries, they pretty much succeeded.
So look, he built the largest land empire in history, and he did it through absolute terror. But today, that empire is gone. The Tangut people are just a footnote in history books. The millions he slaughtered are nameless. So it leaves you with a really big question, right? For a man who built his entire legacy on fear and making sure people were forgotten, did he actually win?